Jesus left that place and came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. On the Sabbath, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astounded. They said, "Where did this man get all this? What is this wisdom that has been given to him? What deeds of power are being done by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and brother of James and Joses and Judas and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us?" And they took offence at him. Then Jesus said to them, "Prophets are not without honour, except in their hometown and among their own kin and in their own house." And he could do no deed of power there, except that he laid his hands on a few sick people and cured them. And he was amazed at their unbelief. We all know the phrase, "familiarity breeds contempt." I'm not sure it was contempt experienced by Jesus when he returned to his hometown of Nazareth, but it wasn't far from it. His success in the synagogues of the neighbouring towns, such as Capernaum, might have led him to believe that he would be similarly welcome in the place where he grew up and was part of the community, but it didn't turn out like that. Just the opposite. The reaction to him returning as a teacher, a healer, a worker of miracles, was one of scoffing disbelief. The social system at the time was one where your place in society was fixed. Your birth defined who you were and who you would always be. So maybe his family and friends regarded it as impossible for Jesus to amount to anything. To them, he was a carpenter, a man who'd lived quietly at home. I can imagine them listening to him reading from the Torah in the synagogue and shaking their heads and saying, "Oh yes, young Jesus reads well, but he's nothing special. After all, we know him, we've seen him grow up." How often do we think we know people, especially our family and friends? I think it can be hard for parents to adjust to their children growing up, becoming adult, having their own ideas, their own identities. Perhaps in parents' minds, their children will always be the ones who they tucked up in bed, who were afraid of the dark, and who ran to them for a cuddle when they hurt themselves. In the early 1970s, Chris, then a BBC drama editor in London, edited the award-winning director Mike Leigh's first film for television. Chris told me that he found working with Mike Leigh was a difficult and challenging experience. I happened to mention this to an aunt of mine who said, "Little Mikey, oh yes, he was a very naughty little boy." It turned out that Mike Leigh's mother and my aunt were great friends. The result of his community's unbelief was that Jesus not only did not but could not work any miracles there, except for a few sick people who were cured by the laying on of hands. He couldn't help those who had no faith in him. Jesus works only when we open ourselves to him. Mark often said how amazed people were at Jesus' teaching. Now it was Jesus' turn to be amazed at his hometown's lack of faith and trust in him. It's no wonder he said sadly, "A prophet is not without honour except in their own town, among their own kin, and in his own home." Can we ever really know another person? With the best will in the world, we're all apt to put on masks before others, for our own protection, for safety, for security. We see the surface of people, perhaps what we want them to see, not what's in their hearts. And the more we think we know people, the more wrong we can be. The only one who knows us, who truly knows us, is God. So do we have preconceptions about people, about those we know, those close to us, as well as acquaintances? Is it based on laziness and unwillingness to see beyond our own rooted ideas? Do we make snap judgments on people we meet by chance, based on possibly little more than looks, attitudes, how we're feeling at the time? Subjective feelings that colour our understanding. Sometimes we find it hard to see the grace of God near to us, under our noses as it were. The trap of familiarity is one we can all fall into very easily. How many times have we failed to recognise the voice of Jesus speaking to us because the person is someone we meet every day, a person we may not like, a person we might even despise? But God can and does talk to us through all kinds of people. A relative, a friend, a colleague, our own children, a total stranger, educated, uneducated, those of different faiths or of no faith at all. Do any of you remember the acronym WYSIWYG, standing for What You See Is What You Get? It was a new software interface which allowed us to write documents which looked like the finished product rather than just a list of commands. Far from what you see is what you get, the people of Nazareth didn't see what they had got in Jesus. Jesus couldn't do any miracles because they didn't have any faith in him. So the fact that they were blind to his miracles meant they couldn't receive anything from him, which should make us think about how much God is willing to be limited in respect of how we respond to him. He doesn't force himself on us, but wants to be in a relationship with us. Like any relationship, it's a two-way thing. Do we have preconceptions about Jesus? Perhaps formed in our childhood when we sang Gentle Jesus, Meek and Mild. Or is Jesus something more, much more, and we should look with adult eyes at what he is? The identity of Jesus is a recurring issue in St. Mark. We hear the opinions of rulers, religious authorities, crowds, disciples, and family members. Are we limiting God's ability to work in us? Perhaps we should be more open to receiving the free gifts and presence of God in our lives, especially when those gifts are given through ordinary people. Or do we, like the Nazarenes, have our own fixed perceptions of our family, friends, and those we meet? If we do, perhaps we're missing out on a more vibrant experience of God's grace, because it comes in the everyday. Perhaps in the forgiveness of someone we've wronged, perhaps in the support of someone, a friend, a neighbour, a stranger, at a time when we need it. Here also, God is at work in powerful ways. So as followers of Jesus, we should try and be open not only to being Christ to our neighbour, but receiving Christ and Christ's grace from our neighbour as well. Amen.